Good evening, students. Welcome to all my second video lecture on least cost entry method. In my first lecture video, we have discussed the definition of the transportation and how to formulate the transportation model and different method used for to find out the transportation cost. And among those methods, the first method is that is northwest corner method we have discussed. Now the second method is least cost entry method. In this video we are going to discuss the second method, that is least cost entry method, that is used to calculate the transportation cost. Least cost entry method, this method is the easiest method than the northwest corner method. Here the difference is with the northwest corner method is the only the allocation process. In the northwest corner method, we are going to start the allocations process with the northwest corner cell. But here in the least cost entry method, we are going to start the allocations process with the cell having lowest cost in the matrix. These are the steps you need to follow to solve the transportation problem by using lowest cost entry method. The first step is select the cell with the lowest transportation cost among all the rows and columns of the transportation table. If the minimum cost is not unique, then select arbitrarily any cell with the lowest cost. In the matrix, first you need to find out which one is the lowest cost in the matrix. For that cell, you can start the allocation process with that cell. You need to find out the lowest cost in the matrix. That is first step. You need to start with that cell allocation process. And the rest of the step 2, 3, 4 are the remain same with the northwest corner rule. Okay. Now the same problem that we have discussed in the first lecture, the same problem that you can solve by using the lowest cost entry method, or we can call it as least cost entry method. Now again here, how many warehouse, that is W1, W2, W3, 3 warehouse, that is destination centers, and plant P1, P2, P3. These are all, you can call it as sources P1, P2, P3, and supplies are 20, 28, 17 are given, and demand also 21, 25, 19, 65. Sorry, 19. Now the first step is to whether the transportation problem, this problem is balanced or not. You need to check it first step, so that you can add the supply and demand. If it is equal, then the problem is balanced. The supply is, please add the supplies, that is 20 plus 28 plus 17, it will give 65, and 21 plus 25 plus 19, that will give 65. Supply is equals to demand, the problem is balanced. Now the goes to second step. Now we need to start the allocation process. Here in the least cost entry method, among this matrix, which one is the lowest transportation cost is that? That is in the matrix, that is 3 is the least cost. Am I correct? Here it is the 3 is the least cost, that is P2 W3 cell. P2 W3 cell. Now for that cell, see the supply is how much? 28 is there and demand is 19. Please remember P2 W3 cell is the least cost cell. For that cell, see the supply 28 is there and for the demand is 19. Now which one is the minimum? Supply is minimum or demand is minimum? Here it is demand is minimum. Okay, so that we can allocate 19 to that cell so that the demand is fulfilled, so that he has written the 0. Now in the supply, okay, here it is 28 there is there, 28 minus 19, that is 28. Among the 28 who are allocated 19, and so it is left with 9 in the supply column. Now the demand is fulfilled, so that we can delete the W3 column. Now the same procedure we need to continue. In the next step, see the again least cost cell, that is 4. The next least cost cell is 4, that is P3 W1 cell. P3 W1 cell. For that cell, see the supply it is how much? 17 and demand is 21. Now see which one is the minimum here? Supply is minimum, so that allocate 17 to the P3 W1 cell. Now the supply is fulfilled, so that we can delete the P3 row. Now in the demand W1 column, the 21 is there, we have allocated 17 and it is left with 4. Now we have deleted the P3 row. Now the same procedure can continue. Next, the least cost is, that is 5 is there, that is P2 W1. For that cell, see the supply, it is how much is the supply? That is 9. Okay, now the demand is 4. Okay, which one is the minimum here? That is demand is minimum, so that 4 is allocated to the P2 W1 cell. Now demand is fulfilled, so that remove the column W1 and in the supply among 9 we have allocated 4 and it is left with 5. Now delete the W1 column. Now next least cost cell is, that is 6, that is P1 W2. Now for that cell, see the supply it is how much? 0. Sorry, for that cell the supply is 20 and demand is 25. Now which one is the minimum? The supply is minimum 20, so that we can allocate 20 to the P1 W2 cell, so that the supply is fulfilled, so that delete the P1 row and in the demand column among 25 we have allocated 20 and it is left with 5. Now the least cost cell for the next step, that is 7, that is P2 W2 cell. For P2 W2 cell, please check the supply it is how much? 5 and demand is also 5, so that the both are supply and demand is equal, so that we can allocate 5 to the P2 W2 cell. Now supply is also fulfilled and demand is also fulfilled. Now we are getting the allocated cells are P1 to W2, P2 to W1, P2 to W3, P2 to W3 and P3 to W1. We are getting 5 allocated cells. Now your final matrix with the allocations he has given, that is final matrix with the allocations, that is P1 to W2 6 into 20, P2 to W1 5 into 4, P2 to W2 7 into 5, P2 to W3 3 into 19, next P3 to W1 4 into 17. Now just verify with the formula, that is number of allocations are equals to the number of rows plus number of columns minus 1. Here number of allocations, as I said that here 5 number of allocations. Now number of rows, here P1, P2, P3, number of rows are 3 plus number of columns W1, W2, W3 3, 3 plus 3 6 minus 1, that is 5. Number of allocation cells are also 5. 5 equals to 5. Now we need to find out the total transportation cost from the allocated cells, that is P1 to W2, that is 6 into 20, that is gives 120. From P2 to W1 5 into 4, that is 20. P2 to W2 7 into 5, that is 35. P2 to W3 3 into 19, that is 57, and P3 to W1, that is 4 into 17, that is gives us 68. Add all these costs, that will give the total cost is 300. Now thus please verify the same problem we have solved with the northwest corner cell, that will give something about 400. Now the same problem that you can use for the solve by using the method, that is least cost entry method, that will give 300. Okay, which method will give the minimum cost, that is least cost entry method. Okay, here from this method, the for this problem that you are getting the total cost is 300. Thank you.